Hello, we're Nightstrip. I'm Douglas McCarthy.
And I'm Bon Harris, and you're watching the Mira Luna DVD 2006.
Bless you.
For Nightstrip, then yeah, we are planning new material. We haven't actually had a chance to get in the studio yet, so we won't be performing anything new because we haven't got to that point of writing yet. But in fact, in the next couple of weeks, we should be going into the studio back in London for at least a few days, and then the tour kind of takes us off for a month, and then after that, we'll be in the studio to at least start a new album.
Yeah, we've been messing around with some ideas initially, but at the moment it's just like musical bits and pieces. But this will be the first time when we get back to London that we've had a chance to go in the studio together. So, yeah, new stuff's on the way.
Bei den Krupps steht alles unter dem Stern 25-jähriges Jubiläum. Das heißt, wir haben gerade unsere quasi Best-of komplettisiert. Das heißt, es sind alles neue Versionen von den alten Klassikern, die wohl in diesem Herbst erscheinen werden. Das heißt, es wird eben zum runden Jubiläum auch was auf dem Markt sein.
I don't know, I think Frontline came from like kind of more like the first band, Skinny Puppy. I think that sort of was our breeding ground, and we started off with that, and I think we were always influenced by all the sort of Wild Planet bands from the UK, and whether it was Portion Control, Test Department, Throbbing Gristle, you know, all this, the Industrial Records label, and the legendary Pink Dots. I think all that kind of stuff got us, that's kind of what got us into the mode, you know, and I think we always wanted, yeah, we were more about, I don't know if Gothic was the right word, but, you know, even Bauhaus and all that kind of stuff, and we just combined everything and tried to make it edgy and hard and weird, and yeah, you know, whenever I heard Join in the Chant, it was always like still the best sounding thing on the dance floor. And I think, I don't know if Flood had anything to do with that or not, but that Total Age was like, you know, I think sort of the blueprint for like the electronic dance music dance floor thing, and so we just kind of tried to kind of go a little different, and I think with Puppy and stuff, it was a lot of theatrics as well, you know. And, you know, sort of that whole Marilyn Manson, blah, blah, blah sort of thing now, you know.
I mean, basically, the thing that's always appealed to us as a band, and I think similarly with the other guys, and anyone who's in a band, whatever type of music you're doing, it's always really good fun to be able to experience work with someone else. You know, it kind of focuses on yourself, on how you work and the processes you use. So there's always a natural interest in what like-minded people are doing, and so I think it comes out of that musicianship attitude.
Funny thing is that back then, when we first got together to do Machineries of Joy, we thought, okay, it's the old school come together with the new school. We're all old school.
Very old school.
Great. It feels good. I think, well, to me, the most relevant bands are still the ones that got me into electronic music. It's not Kraftwerk. It's still The Normal. It's still Suicide, you know, the first album. And it's still the first Para-Uber album. Those albums, to me, are still more relevant than anything that's happening right now.
And
Most
Robin
definitely.
Grissel, who just did a very good concert early this year in Berlin. Robin Grissel are back.
I think the other important point is when we were starting our bands, we were influenced by anything from, you know, punk rock to country and western to big band and swing music, you name it. And I think nowadays a lot of the newer electronic bands are only influenced by other electronic bands. So I think what a lot of us were trying to do all the time was to innovate and not really be part of a scene, but try and establish something new or a new direction. And sometimes I think that's a little bit lacking in what some of the newer bands are doing. There doesn't seem to be as big of a breadth of influence as there were when we were beginning.
I think also, actually, I mean, the bands you're mentioning, I think there's another new crop of bands that are doing something more interesting, I feel. Bands like Motor and Black Strobe, they're doing something that is actually, they're breaking into a kind of mainstream world, but in a really, really minimal, sparse electronic way, which is a lot more interesting for us to see and hear than a band, as Bond said, just trying to regurgitate what others have done before. I mean, the kind of the template that we used for our initial performances as Nights of Ebb was set by us going to see bands like The Birthday Party and Bauhaus, and also a kind of, you know, we were very young, we were like, you know, in our mid-teens, 15, 16 years old when we did our first show, and the kind of pent-up excitement and natural kind of aggression for the world that most teenage kids have, along with the sheer fear of being on stage, made us kind of explode on stage when we were able to perform. It was the only way to perform, and we've never really known another way of performing. So yeah, it's, as far as our bodies will permit, it's the same performance, because that's the only performance we have.
Yeah, and it's been interesting getting feedback from this tour, because a lot of people are actually saying it's got better with age. So apparently we've matured somehow, at least on stage. I don't see any evidence of that elsewhere. But
I actually feel more energetic than ever before. When I'm on stage, I feel a lot better than, you know, when we were performing 10, 15 years ago. Seriously, I don't know why that is, but that's the way it is. You know, I just feel very. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of energy. We get a lot of, you know, positive feedback from the crowd. And actually, you know, we've been away for 8 years, and we came back, and every show we played, every festival we played, the response was great. I mean, that's all I can say. I mean, it's just amazing that people, you know, could still, still knew us.
yeah,
You know, they you know, it's been 8 years. I mean, a lot of things have changed, but the crowd's still there. The fans are still there. Thanks.